Hey everyone, and welcome back to ByMKDesigns. This week I decided to work on a Yeezy inspired two-piece set that Makeida have also done as well. So keep watching to learn how to make it. So let's get started with what you're going to need. Some elastic, matching thread, pins, ribbing material, some nice stretchy glitter material, and I used a pair of leggings and a jumper just to use to get the shape, and fabric scissors. To start off, you're just going to need to fold your material in half and then fold it again to get it on the fold, because we're starting off with the top and it saves us time to cut too. So when you fold once and then you fold again, you get the back and front of anything. If you don't have a jumper, you can also use a crop top. It's just to get a nice baggy shape. So if you have something that's baggy, it's better, but if not, you just need to cut away from it. So all I did was I turned my crop top inside out and folded it in half and then tucked the arms underneath. And then I cut about 2 inches away from where my top sat, just to get that shape for the body. Once you have done that, you just need to open it out and then separate them, because we're going to cut the neck section for the back and we're also going to do it for the front. So to do it for the back, you just get the top that you used and you just copy that back line and just copy the shape and then cut. And then for the front, you need to do the same, but because it's sort of like a V, we need to use the front of our top, so like a crew neckline, but when we fold it, we just fold it at a diagonal, so we're getting like a triangular shape around the neck. Once you have done that, you just need to pin the top and pin down the sides, not where the armholes are, just pin a lot along the top bit where what is this called? But the top of your arm, I don't know what it's called. You need to pin down the side on both sides. So now that you've done that, we're going to prepare the sleeves. And to do this, you just need to get any piece of extra material that you had from when you was cutting out the body and take a section of it, fold it in half, but just make sure it's enough for the width of your arm. And to do this, we're just going to pull it along the armhole of the body, like so. And then if it is wide enough, you just flip it back onto the body of the top and just cut. Use the body of the top as a template to cut the shape of the armhole. So now that you've done that, I was a little bit confused when I was looking at it because I had it on one fold. So I needed to cut again to make sure I had 2 pieces. But it's probably easier if you just look at what I did, because explaining it is a bit, I'm confusing myself, boy. But yeah. So once you have both sleeves, we're just going to fold it in half and get that sort of sweater shape look. So this is where you go to your jumper. A jumper or any sleeves that you have is really helpful at this point, because it just allows us to get that nice sweater shape. So I used a jumper that fits me well and fits me right on my wrist, and just copied the width of that and cut the diagonal right to the bottom. So it might be a bit shorter, but that's fine. It's where we're going to add the cuffing material at the bottom. So just get that sort of diagonal, you know. Jesus Christ, I need to eat. But that diagonal sweater look shape, so yeah. So now that you've done that, we're just going to pull it all together. And to do this, you just need to do a straight stitch along the shoulders, down the sides, and then down the diagonal side of the sleeve. And then once you've done this, we're going to attach the sleeve to the body of our top. So yeah. I don't know if you can see it that clearly, but where the line is, that's where I done the stitch. I used the matching thread, so you can't really see it that clearly. But yeah, it's really neat, and I didn't need to have much of a seam allowance because the material is cut in an oversized way. Now, to attach the sleeve, you're going to take the seam of the sleeve and the seam of the body and pin together. Then you need to turn it inside out and get the top of the sleeve and the shoulder point of the top and pin it together. I usually like to pin like the 4 points, so pin the seam to seam and then the other side, and then I pin in between that. It just makes it easier to hold it all in place when we're sewing it along on the machine. Then to sew it in place, you're just going to do a straight stitch going all the way around. You don't need much of a seam allowance, but just use whatever you're comfortable with and take your time so it's nice and neat, and when you turn it the right way, it sits nice and flat. At this point, I would suggest ironing the seams. It just makes it look a lot neater, and when you try it on, it just sits on you better when you iron it. If you don't have an iron, it's not that much big of a deal, but I just feel like it's a good habit to get into, because it just like gets your seams neat. So once you've done it and you're happy with it, now is a good point to try it on before we add the cuffs, because yeah, just a good point. I really like the way it fits so far. I felt like my V was a bit high, so I'm going to change that. But now, yeah, we're just going to move on to adding the cuffs and adding the ribbon along the bottom as well. Most ribbon comes in tubes, so you just need to cut double the length of what you want your ribbon to be. And then you need to flip it over so the right side of the ribbon is touching the right side of the top. And then you just need to pin it around. This will require a bit of stretching, as the ribbon is usually cut in a sort of like a narrow tube, so you just need to stretch the top around and pin along as you're doing it. Once you've done this, you need to do a zigzag stitch along the top, and just take your time and stretch while you're sewing it on your machine. Once you've done the stitch, we just need to fold over that excess bit of ribbon to ensure that we get our desired length, and then we're just going to pin it in place again, doing the same thing and just going around. And then once you've have it all pinned in place, we're just going to do a zigzag stitch to close the casing of the ribbon, and then we can move on to adding the cuffs to the arms. Once you've done this, this is how it will look. And again, this is a good point to iron, but if you can't or you don't have an iron, that's fine. To do the cuffs, you just need to cut the width of the ribbon material a bit shorter than the width of the armhole at the bottom. This just allows it to have a bit more of a sit on your wrist better instead of it being baggy. So cut it a little bit shorter so it has a bit of a stretch to it. Once you've done that, you just need to sew down the sides and then just use the same technique that we used before to add the cuffing along the bottom. Once you've done that, try it on again and make any changes to the neckline that you want, and yeah, this is the top done. So now we're going to move on to the bottom. To create the pedal pushers, we're going to need to fold our leggings in half at the front or back, but you need to do it 2 times. Fold it in half and then just cut along the shape. Don't forget to try on your leggings first to see what length you want your leggings to be. And when you're cutting, you only need to cut about half an inch away from the shape of the leggings. Because it's a stretchy material, it will be fine. You don't want to cut it too big, but just kind of guess by the stretchiness of your material. Once you've done that, don't forget to pin the middle section, and then you need to fold your leggings again to the other side. So if you've done the front before, then you need to do the back, and then just cut out that shape again. If you watch my first video of this year when I did the collects, you will know how the shape of the trousers work. But if you just follow what I'm doing, So you fold the front, you fold the back, and then you need to pin along the front and the back, and then just stitch from the waist to the crotch area. Once you've done that, you need to stitch within the legs by shaking it out and then getting that material, that shape in the middle. And then you just need to do a stitch all the way around. You can see me pinning here because it just makes it more helpful. And with these materials, they're just so delicate and they move so easily. So just pin so you can ensure it's as neat as possible. Once you've pinned it in place, this is how it will look. Just make sure that your material is stretching the right way, because mine was too small, so I had to cut it again and then try it on. My son wanted to get involved, so he went and got his shorts, and yeah, he wanted to do a video. He was talking about these are his shorts and but yeah, just give him his camera time, because he actually does watch my videos, so he'll know if I didn't put him in it. Just to elaborate on what I meant by making sure it's stretchy, make sure your stretch is going towards the width and not the length of your material. And then once you're happy with it, try it on, just make sure you're happy with it. And yeah, this is a good time to work on a length, but if you want, you can add elastic at this point, or you can add ribbing. I thought it would look nicer with the ribbing, because if you wanted to wear it without the top, at least you still got that nice ribbing effect. And then we're just going to do the same thing like we did with the bottom of our top. We're just going to cut out the ribbing and then pin it around, making sure that the ribbing, the right side of the ribbing and the right side of the top, the bottoms is facing each other, so they're touching. And then you just need to pin around. And once again, you may need to stretch a bit as you're sewing, but you're just going to use the same method that we used when we did the bottom of the top. Once you are done with adding the waistband, you are finished. You can iron it out and hem the bottom if you feel like your material is going to fray, but if not, you are finished. I really love the way this turned out, and I'm going to be selling them in different color options that I will announce on my Instagram at ByMKDesigns, and I'll put it in the description box below. But thank you so much for watching. Please like, share and subscribe, and give this video a thumbs up.